All right, so this is the part of the video when I ask you guys the questions. So any newcomers that started following me since I've been following in this Justice for Naziah story, please know that I'm not spreading false information. No, no, no. I'm simply asking a question, which is a big difference. So I want to know several things. I want to know, is it true? Did Annette have a baby when she was 11, which means she would have gotten pregnant when she was 10? And I wanted to know the names of all of her children. I heard she has 7 kids. And I know Florino, I think that's his name, Florentino, something like that. And of course the twins, Marquita and Shannon. And then there's Kenya, aka Lady. So what are the other children's names? I believe there was one on that news program that said she had actually tried to inform CPS about the situations in the home. I believe, I'm not going to say for a fact that was her, but I kind of do think it was based on what I was listening to earlier today. So yeah, those are the questions right there that I definitely wanted to know. The name of all 7 children, if you guys know. And did she have a child when she was 11? And that would be part of the 7 kids, unless that child, of course, was taken away based on her age. And of course, there is a rumor, I don't know how fict or faction it is, that she was also having a sexual relationship with Jarvis Butts, JB. I was looking at pictures of Annette when she was younger, and why not? Why not? If he did do it, why not? Allegedly, he's been with both twins, and allegedly, Shannon has been with, his business buddy. So why not? It seems like they all share. So why not, right?
I can ask, and I'm not sure if you already can ask this question. What's the disconnect with Annette, I think I'm saying her name right, and her daughters, especially like Naziah's mom?
Sure, that's a good one for me. I mean, Annette went through her traumas as well. So, just taking a seat back and just thinking about certain things. She's a detached individual. She went through her own traumas.
You would think as a mom and her going through that experience, and that she'll protect all children around her, especially ones related to her. You would think that her senses as a mother would be more strong, knowing that she went through something like this already.
Yeah, you would think. Some people just can't break that chain.
It's like she despised Naziah's mom. So she really didn't care about Naziah because she already didn't like her mama, and then here she is having to take on another child, which is her daughter's kid. Like, it's like she pushed all it off on that baby and just didn't care.
Well, from what I understand, the disconnect with her daughter is because her husband liked her daughter more.
That's crazy. And that sounds like the situation with Shannon, Jarvis, and Naziah. It's a repeated cycle.
That's what I said.
Wow, that's sad. Miss Kenya, you know that video, that live video floating around, if you've seen it, of Shannon recording her mom in the morning during their little before school routine?
Yes, ma'am.
So was that the type of person that Annette was? Just kind of, I guess the term would be aggressive, just, cussing, swearing. Is that just kind of her normal character?
I've heard her cuss at the kids, but you know how you'd be like, get your ass over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's why I was confused, because I'm like, that's normal. But the steps that she was, it just was like before prayer, she kind of was, aggressive and loud and mean during prayer. So I was like, we all kind of are used to a couple cuss, we had cuss at our, a little here, something here or there, but not to that extent. So I was like wondering if that was just kind of her normal. Whether she did that in public too, like, is that just in a house thing or?
Yeah, you know what? people, I don't know. I never cussed at my kids like that. You know, I think it's wrong to cuss at kids like that. Period. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yes, ma'am.
you know, it's about the individual psychologically. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
No kid deserves to wake up and be spoken to like that. Not even
Yes,
when they
calling them dumb and
that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was just shocking too, because it's one thing for it to happen, but for Shannon to sit back, record it, and then post it is like, girl, why would you, like, you kind of exposing your mom, you know, in a way was great.
And that just goes to show how normal that was, and thank God she did do it.
Yes, ma'am, I agree.
Went to Annette's house and seen the locks on the refrigerator. Like, was that a typical thing? Had any of the other family members witnessed that or seen that?
Honestly, when I was talking with other cousins, and I told them, I said, I never seen a chain on the net refrigerator, but apparently other cousins had seen a chain on the net refrigerator. So I never saw one because I would have been like, what's going on with this? But other cousins said, yeah, they just seen a chain on the refrigerator, but I didn't. I don't know how I missed a chain on the refrigerator, but I never saw one.
So did they like mention like does like I seen in one of the videos Naziah was in, it was like a refrigerator sitting on a dresser. So did the kids have like their own little refrigerator, their own little like snack section or food section or something? I'm just trying to make the locks make sense.
Well, all I can tell you is that I know that she had a refrigerator in the kitchen that didn't have a chain on it when I was there. And she had a pantry room that was full of food. I didn't see no lock on the door. So that's why I keep saying, you know, to see a refrigerator in her house, I mean, unless it was in the basement or something, but it couldn't have been in the basement, but I don't know. But I never saw a chain on the refrigerator whenever I came over.
Okay. You know, they have a speculation that she has like 3 refrigerators. I guess 2 of them are refrigerators and one is like a stand-up like deep freezer. Yeah.
That's what I saw. A stand-up deep freezer and a refrigerator in the kitchen.
I love my daughter. I mean, it can't be measured how much I love my daughter. And I'm still holding on the fact of and the possibility and the faith that she is still living.
Right.
Regardless of what the news and everything say. I don't do the publicity. I don't do, you know, people's platform or however they want to benefit off the situation. My concern is about my daughter. And just because people doesn't see my face or see me all everywhere like some of my, you know, family members be, you know, that doesn't mean that I'm not involved and I'm not trying to keep up with what's going on with my daughter.
Right.
You know, and that's as much I got to say about it to anyone. You know, I don't have to show my face all on the news or, you know, be all on everybody's podcast and all that. I don't have to do all that for somebody to feel that I'm involved with what's going on with my daughter.
Period.
So that was Naziah's mother, Kenya, aka Lady, the one who I think is very, very pretty. She was pretty back then, and I saw a more recent picture of her, still pretty, still pretty. We all have our issues and our struggles, and, you know, I really do. I wish her the best. I actually wish the ones that had good intentions the best. I do, because we know that a lot of people in this situation, they didn't have good intentions. They were, you know, looking out for themselves. So you hear it from her own mouth. You know, she doesn't want to be on everyone's podcast talking about this so people can twist words. You know how they do. She is going to be behind the scenes and I guess hope that her daughter is, you know, somewhere and she's going to return with her baby. Because I know she knows by now she was pregnant. So that's the only thing that I guess she's looking for. She's optimistic. She's a mother. You know, she's supposed to be. So my final thing was, you know, I did hear that, you know, and we just heard it earlier in this video. I did hear that, you know, the reason why maybe Lady had ran off is because her mother didn't believe her. When she said she was violated by one of Annette's husbands, she didn't believe her. So Lady perhaps took to the streets and maybe she ended up with a habit and that, you know, kept her away from her children. She entrusted her mother still with her 2 kids, you know, Vari and Tuda. She entrusted. And like I stated in another video I did, you know, when you have a habit, you might not see things clearly, okay? That's the whole point of a habit, is you don't want to see things clearly. So people say, well, why would she put her daughter in a situation when she was in a situation? Again, because you don't think that it's going to happen again. It happened to you. You don't think it's going to happen to your kid. You don't. But it does. And that's where the term generational curse comes in, because it keeps stopping until someone stops it. And it has to be someone in the generation to stop it. We know that now. We know that. So, again, I'm wishing everybody the best who had good intentions for the situation before it even started. You know, you can't get your hands dirty during a thing and then clean them up and think everyone's going to be like, oh, well, you have clean hands now. That's not the way, you know, things work. So again, as we follow this case, justice for Neziah, and hopefully someone will say when the court date is. I think it's March 7th. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And the links for these two clips, there's actually two separate clips I have in the description box if you want to hear it in its entirety. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Have a great Sunday.